We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. Earth's deepest scar, the Mariana Trench, plunges nearly 11 kilometers into the crust, a place of absolute darkness, crushing pressure, and eerie silence. But is it truly empty? For decades, sonar anomalies, unexplained metallic sounds, and Navy encounters have suggested that something or someone is active in the deep. Today, we dive into the terrifying secrets of the Mariana Trench. In the 1960s, during the historic dive of the bathyscaphe Trieste, Jacques Picard and Don Walsh reached the ocean floor. But as they sat in their tiny steel sphere, thousands of feet below, Picard reported seeing a disc-shaped object emitting its own light before vanishing into the shadows. Years later, in 1991, NOAA hydrophones captured a bizarre, ultra-low frequency sound echoing through the Pacific. They called it the bloop. Scientists claimed it was an iceberg fracturing, but oceanographers noted the sound traveled over 5,000 kilometers. No icebreak could create that much energy. Could it be a biological entity of monstrous proportions, or an artificial signal? To understand the mystery, we must understand the environment. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure is over 1,000 times greater than its sea level. This is enough force to crush an American attack submarine like a soda can. The temperature is barely above freezing, and the darkness is absolute. Sunlight disappears completely after 200 meters. Below that, you enter the midnight zone, and finally, the Hadal zone, named after Hades, the ancient Greek god of the underworld. For centuries, mainstream science claimed that life could not exist under these conditions. They believed the immense pressure would destroy cell membranes and shatter bones. They were wrong. Every time we send a drone into the abyss, we discover new life forms that defy the laws of biology. Translucent creatures with glowing organs, giant amphipods that thrive on toxic chemicals, and apex predators that have never seen the light of day. But it is not the known biology that frightens researchers. It is the anomalies that the instruments cannot classify. In 2014, a research vessel operating near the Challenger Deep deployed a highly sensitive hydrophone array to record the ambient sounds of the trench. What they captured over a 3-month period shocked the scientific community. Instead of a quiet, dead ocean floor, they recorded a chaotic symphony of groans, clicks, and high-pitched metallic screeching. Some of these sounds were identified as blue whales and seismic activity, but a significant portion of the data featured repeating rhythmic patterns. In the world of acoustics, rhythm implies intelligence or machinery. The frequencies were too low for human ears, but when sped up, they resembled the operational sounds of a massive subterranean factory. When the data was sent to the United States Navy for analysis, it was classified. The official press release stated that the sounds were caused by tectonic shifting and hydrothermal vents. But independent experts who saw the initial data disagreed. They noted that tectonic shifts do not produce synchronized repeating signals that fluctuate based on the time of day. This brings us to the classified encounters of military submarines. During the Cold War, both the United States and the Soviet Union deployed nuclear submarines deep into the Pacific Ocean. Their primary mission was to track each other, but they often found themselves tracking something else. Navy sonar operators are trained to recognize every known sound in the ocean, from a shrimp clicking to the propeller of a foreign destroyer. But according to declassified logs from Soviet submarines, their sonar frequently locked onto targets moving at impossible speeds. These targets were dubbed hydrospeeders, or USOs, unidentified submerged objects. In 1971, a Soviet submarine operating in the North Pacific detected an object moving at a depth of 6,000 meters. No human technology, then or now, can survive at that depth while maintaining mobility. The object was traveling at over 150 knots. For comparison, the fastest modern nuclear submarines can barely reach 45 knots. The USO shadowed the Soviet vessel for several hours, matching its maneuvers effortlessly, before diving vertically into the depths of the trench at a speed that should have torn any structure apart. But military logs are not the only evidence. The physical scars left on research equipment tell a much more violent story. In 1999, the German research vessel, High Depth, was conducting a routine mapping mission over the Mariana Trench. They lowered a massive, custom-built steel camera cluster to a depth of 9,000 meters to capture high-definition footage of the seabed. The equipment was suspended by a reinforced cable, capable of lifting a commercial airliner. After 3 hours of recording, the onboard monitors suddenly went black. The sensors indicated a sudden, massive strain on the cable. The winches began to smoke as the system struggled against an immense downward force. The captain ordered the crew to pull the equipment back up immediately, fearing they had snagged on a volcanic ledge. It took nearly 4 hours to bring the steel structure back to the surface. When it finally emerged, the crew was horrified. The heavy steel frame was twisted and deformed, bent at a 45-degree angle. The high-strength protective glass over the cameras was shattered from the outside. Most disturbingly, the thick steel cables were frayed and snapped in a manner that looked like teeth marks. The official report concluded that a sudden underwater landslide had trapped the equipment. But the engineers who built the frame noted that a landslide would crush the structure uniformly, not bite it from one side. What could possess that kind of power? Some researchers secretly theorize that ancient megafauna, creatures we believe went extinct millions of years ago, still survive in the isolated ecosystem of the trench. The megalodon, a prehistoric shark reaching lengths of over 20 meters, is the most common theory among the public. Mainstream marine biologists dismiss this, arguing that a creature that large would need massive amounts of food that the trench cannot provide. However, we now know that the trench is home to a phenomenon known as marine snow, a continuous shower of organic material dropping down from the upper layers of the ocean. Furthermore, the discovery of massive hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the trench reveals an ecosystem powered not by sunlight, but by chemosynthesis. These vents spew superheated water, rich in minerals, creating localized zones of high energy and warmth. If a population of apex predators adapted to this deep environment during the last ice age, they could theoretically survive unnoticed by humanity. They would have no need to surface, as their entire food chain is locked within the dark corridors of the abyss. But there is another theory, one that moves away from biology and into the realm of geopolitics and advanced technology. The Mariana Trench is located in a highly strategic position in the Western Pacific, surrounded by U.S. territories and close to Asian maritime borders. It is the perfect place to hide something we never want the world to see. For decades, rumors have circulated about Project Deep Drone, a black-budget military operation designed to build automated underwater listening posts and drone bases inside the walls of the trench. Because the extreme depth creates an acoustic shield, any signal generated inside the trench cannot be detected by surface radars or satellites. It is the ultimate blind spot on Earth. If a nation-state developed advanced materials capable of withstanding Hadal pressure, they could operate an entire fleet of reconnaissance drones or experimental weapons platforms without anyone knowing. This would explain the metallic sounds, the rhythmic frequencies, it's too close to specific coordinates. In 2018, a private deep-sea explorer named Victor Vescovo made a record-breaking dive to the bottom of the Challenger Deep, reaching a depth of 10,928 meters. He spent 4 hours exploring the desert-like floor of the trench, while the media focused on his tragic discovery of a plastic bag at the deepest point on Earth. The raw telemetry data from his submersible, the limiting factor, contained strange anomalies. During his final hour on the bottom, the vehicle's external thrusters experienced brief electromagnetic interference. The onboard compass began to spin erratically, a phenomenon usually caused by a massive localized magnetic field. Vescovo reported seeing strange straight-line formations in the sediment, formations that looked less like natural rock structures and more like buried cables or pipelines. When he attempted to steer the submersible closer to investigate, his communication link with the surface ship became highly unstable, forcing him to abort the mission and begin his ascent. The raw video files of those specific minutes were never released to the public. We are left with a haunting reality. The ocean is not just water, it is a vast unexplored frontier that guards its secrets with lethal force. Whether the Mariana Trench hides a remnants of prehistoric Earth, an extraterrestrial base, utilizing the ocean's pressure as a shield, or top-secret military installations that defy international law, one thing is certain. The deeper we go, the more we realize that we are not the masters of this planet. We are merely guests living on a thin crust, completely oblivious to the ancient powerful forces that stir in the dark waters below. The vault remains locked, but the hinges are starred.